HighVibe Conversations.
You are now listening to
HighVibe Conversations.
Hello, my name is Tawana Chamberlain, and I am your host for this new podcast called HighVibe Conversations. We just want to talk to people about what they are doing to stay motivated, positive, to remain hopeful and inspired during this time of quarantine. So this will just be a mixer, if you will, a virtual mixer, and I'll have some of my friends who are professionals and thought leaders in their industry. People who like to stay close to the light in terms of positivity and to bring joy to people, to bring hope and inspiration. We just want to keep the conversations on a high vibe, a higher frequency, and not give way to a lot of the negativity that we hear on the news or just with things that are going on around the globe in general. There is so much with coronavirus and COVID-19, the global pandemic, and we are finding our ways through this new normal right now. So I just wanted to create a podcast, a safe space where I could bring people on, like minded individuals, kindred spirits, to talk about how to remain hopeful and positive and optimistic and still productive at this time of quarantine and isolation. So I hope that you will enjoy the podcast. And we'll get started right away with my special guest for this episode, Mr. Stephen Bell. He is a wonderful person, a dynamic entrepreneur, and I am also honored to call him friend. We've been knowing each other for quite some time now, and he always is positive and he's always talking about the projects that he's working on, and he likes to just keep it moving. And I like that energy. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted to have him on the podcast today. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into my interview with entrepreneur and thought leader, Mr. Stephen Bell. So keep it locked right here to High Vibe Conversations.
High Vibe Conversations.
And we are back to another episode of High Vibe Conversations, and I'm honored to have our special guest for today's episode, Mr. Stephen Bell. Stephen Bell is a thought leader, human services provider, entertainer, and owner of Building Excellent Level Life LLC. As a thought leader, Stephen challenges contemporary standards of thinking, which in turn challenges contemporary standards of living. Stephen has extensive experience in serving people. And by the way, that's one of the things I really like most about him. He's a servant leader. Stephen has worked in the capacity of youth development, family development, developing elderly activities, community outreach, community activities coordinator, housing, welfare, unemployment assistance, special needs, and more. Stephen is also a talented singer, songwriter, music producer, and poet. Stephen is currently bringing all of his knowledge and abilities together to operate in his company, Building Excellent Level Life LLC, which uses an asset-based approach to enhancing the thoughts, actions, and accomplishments of people worldwide. Under the slogan, "Keep the sparkle in your eyes, your dreams alive, and keep building excellent level life," Stephen is on a mission to perpetually move humanity forward. All right now, brother. You go on, Steve.
Oh,
How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
most excellent, most excellent, most excellent. And how are you today?
I'm doing wonderfully well. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for it was such an honor to be on the show with you, our Vibe Conversation. Oh, I was just honored. I was just honored for the invitation.
Oh, well, I'm just honored to have you here because I've been knowing you for years, and you are so consistent in how you carry yourself and your comportment and your disposition. And I really appreciate your authenticity. So it is my pleasure to have you on this particular episode of High Vibe Conversations. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to jump right into the interview with the first question. What are some things that you do to remain positive and productive during this time of quarantine?
Well, one of the first things I have to step up with is my movement, exercise. Exercise. It changes everything. When you wake up in the morning and get moving, one of the first things that can happen is you can fall into a slump. And exercise, it gets the heart going, it gets more oxygen going through your body and gets you ready and set the pace for your day. Another thing is meditation, something that I do a lot anyway, because as a thought leader, I'm doing a lot of thinking and meditating and just hearing what the Spirit of God has to say to me. And I journal those thoughts down. That's something that I do continuously. And from there, I'm also continuously developing my company, Building Excellent Level Life LLC. So those are things that I was able to do in this time now that I have so much more time to concentrate on building excellent level life.
Right. And when you speak about that, it's so important, the physical health component, because we have to, like you said, not be complacent and fall into a slump and not get our bodies moving, because that right there could be one of the things that actually save our lives, by increasing our lung capacity, by adding that cardio, building it into our daily routines, those types of things. And so you're right. We need to be mindful of that, and not just mindful of it. Get up off the couch and move, right? Get outside and take a walk. Absolutely. So now for my second question, Mr. Bill. What advice would you give to others to uplift them?
One of the things that I look at is overall taking inventory and evaluate. As I may mention, the physical part. You want to look at yourself and see where you are physically. Look at your mindset and inventory and evaluate where you are mentally, so that you're starting and building in a place of authenticity. Now, from there, you want to inventory and evaluate what I call your stakes. STAKES. Inventory your skills, talent, ability, knowledge, equipment, and support.
Okay.
And when you inventory your stakes, your talent, ability, knowledge, equipment, and supporters, from there you'll find that you may very well be or may very well have far more than you realize. Because many times our prayers are already answered, we just haven't taken inventory.
Well, let the church say amen on that one.
Amen.
And so give me that acronym one more time, just in case our listeners didn't catch it the first time. Nice and loud. What was that acronym one more time?
STAKES. STAKES.
Okay.
Skills, talent, ability, knowledge, equipment, and supporters.
Love it. And that last one is so important right now, right? People
Very
need to feel supported. They need to know that they have a support system.
Yes,
and
the other piece is working on developing more of a collective mindset.
Okay.
Just looking at the way that how this came upon us so fast and how we really as a society is not prepared. One of the areas where we fell short is understanding that we're one collective. That we're one collective. A lot of the panic, a lot of the anxiety came in, wondering how will I survive? How will I make it? What will I do for my home?
That's
as
right.
opposed to having a collective mindset of that we can
as a community.
As a community, we can overcome this. And the reality is this: overcoming this it requires the collective. Individuals will not survive this. So this is something that we have to do and have to realize that we are a collective. We are a collective. Even though we're social distancing, there's still a collective, a community that has to still work together.
Right, in order to flatten the curve and get the main salient goal accomplished. And you are so right. I was listening to the radio the other day, and there was an advertisement say, "We're alone together." You know, we're doing this for each other. We're social distancing for each other. We're staying in quarantine for each other, for the elderly generation, and just for our neighbors, just to be cognizant and conscious of how our lives now inadvertently impact the lives of others. Our decisions, the choices we make on a daily basis now inadvertently and in some cases directly impact the lives of others right now. So that's good, that collective consciousness and that collective mindset. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. Let me ask you something a little bit more introspective, if you don't mind. What have you learned about yourself during this whole coronavirus crisis?
Well, what I learned about myself is that God has prepared me for such a time as this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm someone who really spends a lot of time in meditation, a lot of time alone anyway. But with what's going on right now, the words, there were instances where I was trying to work with people and introduce certain concepts and getting them ready for. And now, with the concepts that I've been blessed to operate in, asset-based concepts, dealing with collective, people are now more ready.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of a forced readiness based on the situation, but they're now more receptive to what it is that I have to offer. It was effective then if we work it, but now we're in a position where we have to work it.
Right.
So
right.
That's what I'm saying now. That okay, it makes sense. These components of my life have been preparing me for a moment such as this.
Yes. And I tell you what, if you stay ready, you won't have to get ready, right? And so people who have been grinding and into self-mastery, personal and professional development all this time are able to make major gains right now because it's not like the hysteria and the panic, oh my gosh, what do I do? Because some days you do nothing, right? You be still. Other times you execute. But it's difficult if you've been kind of lollygagging all this time, trying to fake it till you make it type thing, and not really putting in the work. Because times like this is where the rubber meets the road, right? Where you can decipher fact from fiction. We know who's actually been grinding. And check this, Steve. In 10 to 15 weeks, we'll really see who was hashtag like a boss in it. You understand what I'm saying? We'll really know who was out there doing that thing. Before, when we had Instagram and we can floss and do whatever, and, on these pretend yachts and all these opulent backdrops that may have been real or may have been rented. Right now, that's not an option, right?
No.
You have to be authentically driven. And
with all of the time that's available now to so
yes.
many, you have things who are talking about binge watching this and this. This is a blessing to those who have already who already have a plan, who already have a vision. Now the thing about it too, it's also a blessing to those who don't, because now you have time to establish one, or even if it's virtual, connect with someone who does.
Right. And I think in about 10 to 15 weeks, the truth will be revealed, and that will be this. So it was really never a matter of you not having time. It was more so a matter of you not having discipline. Yeah, I think a lot is about to be exposed in the midst of this, but this is not to condemn the complacent. It's to say, hey, do what you need to do to level up. Right now is the prime opportunity to level up. Wouldn't you agree?
And also to understand that there are other levels that you don't have to settle for this level. If this is the level you want to settle for, I don't condemn you for that by no means. But please understand, I have a Christian background, so my thing is, you are made in the likeness and image of God Almighty. So there's so much more to you if you so choose.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a choice, and so this opportunity with time, it is not that much time gives you opportunity, and so these are the things that make up the success. These are the elements with all that time. That time is so crucial and critical. so many ideas that people have that were working on jobs that were put on hold. Now that you have this time, boom, you're just running and going. And you have all this time.
Yes.
You get up in the morning, like, I don't have to clock in there. I clock in with what God
With
put
your
in.
own. That's right. That's right. With what thus saith the Lord. Right. And you can focus on your dream and become more intentional about making that happen. Because as they say, success is intentional. It doesn't just happen by happenstance. It's intentional. And now we have that time. The issue is, do you have that mindset, right? Because this is what this time is revealing for us. So, whoa, I like talking to you, Steve. Let me confess, you are my first male interviewee. So you're pulling out a different side of the yin and yang right now. And I'm like, okay, I'm vibing with this. So I appreciate you for being brave and stepping into this platform with me. I really do appreciate your insight. So can you tell us what types of projects do you have going on right now? What are you working on?
Well, my primary now is with my company, doing Exit Level Life, LLC. Like I said, I use an asset-based approach, meaning look at what you have. Start there, as opposed to most programs are deficit-based. What's wrong and how do you fix it? And I'm under the mindset that if you keep filling up a hole is not building up a building.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, yes, the deficits need to be addressed, but at the same time, many of those deficits can be addressed with what you already have.
Right.
So look at, not only that, when you look at your assets, it builds you up. You see yourself as greater. You see more possibilities with what it is that you can do because you realize what it is that you have at hand. You realize the talent, ability, skills that you have. You realize your state. So
right.
With that, I'm building that. I'm also working on doing more Bell sessions. You do on Facebook, do hashtag Bell Session, BELL, SESSION. You'll see a number of videos that I've posted previously.
Okay.
I'm posting more because in this time, the messages that I have are much, much needed. And to continue to carry on the message and deliver the message, I'm developing what I call building excellent life. So those are things that I'm working on now, as well as getting even more social media platforms set up as well with building excellent life.
Right. Well, it sounds like you are super busy, and I commend you for always being productive and positive simultaneously. And I know your music is always a part of what you do as well. And I wish I would have asked you earlier to prepare something to sing us out of here because you are so good at that as well. But I won't dare put you on the spot. But everybody can go to the hashtag Bell Sessions to check out some of your previous videos that you have posted because you dropped some jewels. I mean, some sage knowledge in your Bell Sessions. And I have listened to several of them and have been enlightened and illuminated by many of the things that you've had to say. So that's awesome, and I'm glad that you'll be producing some more in the not-so-distant future. Now, Stephen, you've been an entrepreneur for a while, so as we wrap up this interview here with HighVibe Conversations, can you give any advice to small business owners or entrepreneurs, anything other than what you've said in terms of just helping them to stay positive and to stay motivated, to keep their heads to the sky? Do you have anything to offer, like a nugget of wisdom to those who may be listening who are also entrepreneurs?
Yeah, what I would say is this: remember your vision, and especially those who are spiritually grounded, that understand that which God has given you, that which God has given you, that which God has started, is faith that you complete. So remember your vision, regardless of the situations and circumstances. The purpose of what was put in you is still effective. It's still alive. So continue in what it is that you do to the best of your abilities with the best of what you have. We're going back to that inventory and evaluate. Because although there's social distancing and the situation and circumstances going on, the reality of your vision is still true. And the resources are still available. And that's where the faith comes in.
Oh, yes. Oh,
You can
yes.
make it.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure talking with you, and I definitely want to have you back on as a guest on the podcast. I love your energy, your high vibe energy, and everything that you always bring to the table. And again, I just appreciate you, Steve. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And have a blessed rest of your day, sir.
Thank you, you as well. Yes.
All right. My pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of High Vibe Conversations, the podcast that strives to spread peace and positivity in the midst of this pandemic.
High Vibe Conversations. HighVibe Conversations.